If you've got a piece that's really long like this and kind of fuzzy, this is acrylic stuffing again. It's just in a different color, and this will kind of react the same way as the core wool. This is acrylic, but this is the wool, the actual wool, and you can almost feel that it still has a little bit of the lanolin in it. And you'll notice that when I pull it apart, the fibers are actually pretty small. This is a very short-haired fiber, and if you would look at each of these up close, you would see that there's like a little kink to them. And each of the fibers has, imagine scales like you might see on a snake. If you lay some wool this direction and you lay some wool this direction and then you start stabbing it, you're basically making them all tangle up, and those little barbs are tangling into each other. And I'm going to start out in the center and I'm going to roll in one direction, and then I'm going to stop because I want my fibers to be going the opposite direction. And I'm going to turn this, and then I'm going to roll a little bit more, and then I'm going to stop. And I think at this point what I'll do is I'll just try to needle felt this a little bit. I'm keeping my finger out of the way, stab. Most of the time I stay right up on top, and then I turn my piece. Sometimes you'll lose the traction or the grip that you have on the wool, and that'll make it a little bit harder to move it around. Just be very careful that you do not stab your fingers. The round ball starts to take form. I've got my basic shape here. I want to make it a little bit bigger because I want to work much larger for my animal. So I'm going to wrap another piece around it, this going this direction, pull that off, and then wrap another piece going this direction, and kind of folding in the edges as I go, holding it all into place, and then stabbing it some more. Okay, so you can see now that my piece is fairly firm up at the top. I've made a nice center core to it, but I've left it with kind of a furry collar around the bottom. The reason why I did that is I want to have some loose wool that I'll be able to needle felt to the body.